The following segment is sponsored by Daniel A. White and Associates.
The Rick Jensen Show on 101.7 FM, 1150 AM, WDEL, and streaming to your smart speaker and mobile device.
Wednesdays after the news at 1:30, you'll hear Dan White or one of the associates at Dan White and Associates on the air giving you some great advice. This is what they do. They are financial planners specializing in retirement income. Dan Simon, great guy out of the Middletown office. You can reach him, by the way, at 888-690-8820 to have a conversation. He won't charge you for having a conversation and working on a plan to help you out. Dan, how are you?
I'm good, Rick. How you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing pretty well. I am a little bit troubled, a little disturbed. I got a text message from listener Ken in Wilmington, and we do talk about mortality when we talk about financial planning, so I think it might be appropriate. He said, hey, Jensen, Dolly Parton, 80 years old. Tim Curry, 80 years old. Aren't you 80 years old? And I thought, dude, it's very funny. It's very wrong. No, not yet. But
That's not nice.
It doesn't have to be nice to be funny. I thought it was hilarious. And I thought, no, but I hope to get there someday. And when I'm there, by gosh, I know that you folks at Dan White Associates will make it a lot easier for me to live and get by. But I'm wondering, how much is too much? And I know that's what you want to talk about, Dan.
Yeah, we got you taken care of, Rick. So, when's enough? And what I mean by that, when, we spend the majority of our working lives hearing the same advice, try to max out the 401k, save more for retirement, defer the taxes. But, there can come a point where you've got too much of your money in qualified retirement accounts. And if you've accumulated a significant balance in 401ks, traditional IRAs, continuing to put every available retirement dollar into tax-deferred accounts may not always be the best strategy. Tax-deferred doesn't mean tax-free, right? We got to pay the piper at some point. So eventually withdrawals from traditional retirement accounts are generally, they're a tax liability, right? Taxed as ordinary income. And then later in retirement, required minimum distributions can force the money out, whether you need it or not, which could force you into, a larger tax bracket that you want to be. So that not only impacts your taxes, but potentially increases Medicare premiums at the same time. So, as retirement approaches, the question shouldn't necessarily just be, how much more money can I put away into my 401k or IRA? It should really be along the lines of, do I have the right types of money? And ideally, you want multiple buckets to draw from when the paycheck stops. So tax-deferred money, that's traditional 401ks, traditional IRAs, tax-free Roth accounts, and then after-tax money is going to be, brokerage, savings, CDs, non-qualified assets, and the tax-free, the after-tax money. We really look at it. That's your sense of immediate liquidity. It's kind of the money that's there if you need it, where the tax-deferred money should really be structured to provide some type of systematic income to gradually draw down on when the paycheck stops.
And so I guess what your goal here is to sit down with each person and decide, all right, of all these different elements that go into the basket, how much of which? Is that about right?
Yeah, I mean, the goal isn't simply to retire with the biggest 401k you can. I would say the goal really should be to retire with enough money in the right places. So you've got control over income, taxes, and liquidity through retirement so that you can do the things you want to do and not worry about money,
Nice. I like that. That's lovely. Dan Simon with Dan White and Associates, financial planners specializing in retirement income. You can reach him in the Middletown office, 888-690-8820, 888-690-8820. And on Sunday, Dan White brings us On the Money here on WDEL, 101.7 FM, 1150 AM, streaming live at WDEL.com. And that's Sundays at 7 o'clock in the morning. Right, Dan?
It is. Dan's going to be talking about RMDs and, how they could potentially be a problem. So it should be a good show.
Yeah, required minimum distributions. If you're born, I guess if you're a boomer, probably you got to start taking out at 73 and a half years old or something, right?
73 if you were born prior to 1960. 1960 or later, the RMD age is now 75.
All right. And Ken in Wilmington, I'm not yet 80, so back off, pal. All right. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate the call. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Take care.